Can you hear me? I can hear you. Hi, beautiful Leslie.
Hey, how are you?
Friend.
Good to see you.
Good to
My
see
volume.
you. I'm a little bit of a mess. I've been like running like crazy today.
Ah, you always look great.
Oh, please.
I'm excited.
What's that?
I said I'm excited for this call with you. Thanks for doing this.
Of course. I just was on another call. Becky's boxering me, so please hold.
Oh, if we can hear her. I love that we have Team Kentucky on here. Ryan and Nancy, Troy.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Becky is having an issue with her sound. This happened the last time we were chatting too. I don't know what it is. Oh, hi. There's more people there. Hey, what's going on?
Hi.
So, Beck, do you want me to start? Yeah? Okay. So, guys, hi. How are you? My name is Stacey Whitmer. I am a national marketing director with the Juice Plus company. I love seeing some new faces. Hi, Ryan. It's nice to meet you. And I know my Leslie and Nancy and hi, Troy. Nice to meet you. I loved your scuba diving picture. That was pretty cool. Hey, Trisha.
Hi.
So, Becky wanted me to talk to you guys a little bit today about strong in September. I mean, I can give you a quick background on me, but I really want this to be about you guys. So I live on Long Island, New York. I have an amazing husband and two little nuggets. They're 5 and 7, two boys. I started this business a little at the end of November. Will be the beginning of 3 years. I hit NMD in about 2.5 years. So it's been an amazing journey. People ask me all the time, how did you hit NMD so fast? And I can tell you, I'm going to tell you two things. One, I never gave up. And two, I worked my tail off. Those are my two little tidbits for you. If you want this, you got to work for it. And that's just how I did it so quick. So Becky wants me to talk to you guys a little bit about events. And I'm going to start with Tower Gardens because it's something that her and I really spoke to. And I wanted to share with you guys. How many of you have a Tower Garden? Actually have a Tower Garden? Okay. And, something that is an amazing thing to be able to do is to build a business with Tower Gardens. You can do it. You want to have a good combination of both, but Tower Gardens are a tremendous way to, build a little bit of a business here. Something I do a lot of, especially during the kind of fall, kind of through winter months, we can get stuck in our house, guys. We can get stuck behind our computers, behind Facebook Messenger, our texts, our phones. And the last thing you want to do if you're trying to build a business is get stuck in your home. You need to get out of your house. And a lot of times, at least once a week, I say I put on my fancy clothes. And what I mean by that is I get dressed. I put on I put on like slacks, and sometimes I'm in a suit, depends on the day. And I put on nice shoes and I get out of my house and I go do like calls. I literally walk into assisted living facilities, adult daycare centers, nursing homes, preschools, and I present to them the incredible opportunity of the Tower Garden. And here's what that looks like. So I make a list before I go, and what you're going to look for when you Google it in your area is just that: adult daycare centers, assisted living facilities, preschools, and that's usually it. And what happens when you make that list? What happens when you walk in the door is very simple. You're going to ask for the activities coordinator. That's it. Understand that assisted livings, adult daycare centers, they have activity coordinators for their center. And they do a lot of interactive things. So some of the fun things that I'll say is, can I speak to the activities coordinator? And they say, yes, of course. And then they'll bring her down, or I'll go meet that person. And I start that conversation. It's very simple. I'll say, I'm Stacey. I work with a company that shares a product called the Tower Garden. Do you have, and then I ask a question, do you have a gardening club? Do you have a gardening club? Do you have a cooking club or anything along those lines? Because a lot of these adult daycare centers or assisted living facilities have gardening clubs or cooking clubs. And how fun to be able to garden year round with this gardening club inside. It gives them an opportunity to be hands-on all year round. So that's kind of how I walk in the door and what I say. And then once I'm with them, I have a sheet that I can send Becky, that she can send to you guys, that I have printed out, that I created. A counterpart and I created it together, one of my teammates. And it says what the Tower Garden is and the benefits of it. And then it says all the things you get with your purchase, and then it breaks it down the cost. So then you're going to hand them a little folder, and in that folder is going to be the cost for a single tower and a 3-pack of towers for outdoors. It's going to be a single tower and a 3-pack of towers for indoors. And so those 2 flyers. I then put the brochure, the Tower Garden brochure. I don't have any with me right now. The one that has the little girl standing next to the Tower Garden. It's on juicepluspromotions.com. I put that in there with my card. And that's what I'm leaving them. So here's where you take it to a different level. You offer your services. So a lot of times what I say is, listen, when you get your Tower Garden, I'll come in. We'll do a whole event that day with the gardening club, with the cooking club, or whatever it is, and we'll set it up together. So then you go in, you set it up with them. Now you're building a relationship with these people, okay? And then once you have the tower set up, you can even come in and do workshops with them. And what I use for assisted livings or nursing homes or adult daycare centers is the preschool curriculum. So in towergarden.com, when you pull up the school section, there's a whole curriculum from preschool through grade 5. Okay. So you're going to pull up the preschool curriculum, and that's something that you can show them. I don't leave that there. I show that to them and I bring it home. If they choose to order the tower, I then give it to them in the PDF file, and then they can do whatever they want with it. But you show them the preschool curriculum, because in a lot of adult daycares and assisted livings, they love to color. They love to measure stuff. They like to be hands-on. So the preschool curriculum aligns directly with what they're going to do with the Tower Garden. And you're literally saying, this is what you're doing. And you're handing them exactly what they need to do and how to do it. And what comes with that as well is checklists, checking the pH, checking the water. They do measurements of growth. They have checklists, daily checklists that you can assign someone from the gardening club to do, or whatever that looks like. Okay, so that's one way that I get out of my house and get in front of people. And I'm going to share this story with you. One day I was in my fancy clothes, and it was a Friday. It was like 3:30. I literally left my house at 9:30 that morning, and I was out all day walking in these places, meeting people, which I love to do. I just like to talk to people. Get me in front of you, and we're going to talk about stuff, right? So I was about to go home, and something kind of pulled me. It was like, go here, stop here for a second. I walked into this facility. It's called DDI, Developmental Disabilities Institute. And the woman I spoke to was the director of the program, and she actually said, what she said to me was, I am not working in this facility anymore. I'm now going to be the director of all of the in-home facilities. It's for, and what that is in Long Island, what that is it's for children and adult children that have severe autism, severe issues that they cannot live at home. So they live in these homes. And she was now going to be moving from this place where I happened to be. It was her last day there. It was her last 5 minutes there. And she was never going to be there again. So I walk in to meet her. And she said that she was literally just at a meeting that week prior. And she was trying to figure out how they could bring gardening into their facility because they have no space. And here I walk in with the Tower Garden. So now let me fast forward. She said, I want you to contact me in 3 months. Let me get settled. And I'm thinking, okay, I'll contact her. We'll see. To date, they have 12 tower gardens with grow lights and cages. And I now am a contract employee with the company. And I go in and do workshops for their families on a monthly basis. So that one conversation literally has, and those towers weren't all at once. They bought 3 here, 2 here, 6, like 3, 4, it was kind of like all over the place. But now they have a bigger program opening up. There's going to be another 24 schools that are going to want tower gardens. So from that one network, that one contact that I made by getting out of my house, changed the game. I've now opened up a whole world of business. My first contract, right, the thing that I do now with their families was about nutrition for picky eaters. And what's a tool that we use for picky eaters? Juice Plus. Do you see how that one conversation can change the course of your business? So that's why it's important to get out of your house. And having these conversations with some of these facilities, and by the way, the director and everybody, like all the employees are on Juice Plus now. So it's unbelievable what, this is gonna ring. I'm sorry. It's unbelievable what one conversation can do. So that's why things like that are important to do. When you go into a preschool, it's a little bit different. You want to speak to the director of the preschool. That's who you're asking to speak to. And you're going to have the same conversation. And what I say is this is how I change it. I say, so I introduce myself and I say, I work with a company that shares a product called the Tower Garden. And then what I say is this: there's a huge initiative in our area right now to bring sustainable living to children. And that's going to come from preschool beyond school-age children. And this initiative that we have right now is to educate young children on how to grow and how to grow their own produce in a way that is going to be the future of growing. And how exciting that you get to be on the ground floor of that if you choose to order Tower Gardens for your school. So now you're kind of making it like, man, if I don't jump on this, I'm behind the 8 ball, because they're going to be behind the 8 ball. This is going to be in every school across the country at some point. So we want to get them excited to be at the ground floor of this movement. And I consider it an initiative. It's an initiative we are building to try to bring sustainable growing and sustainable living to children at every age. And it starts with preschool. It starts with this age. And that's how I approach the director. And then I show them the curriculum. Again, simple, it's there, done for you. And then we get into conversation. So that's a little bit about the tower and what I do when it comes to getting out of my house. Becky was asking too a little bit about events. Becky, is that good in tower? Okay. And then she was asking me a little bit about events and what kind of events do we do? I'm an events junkie. What I mean by that is this: events are what has built my business. And I'm not saying an event in my home, because for whatever reason, I don't have tremendous success inviting people into my home. I've had a bunch of those and they've been fine, but I get a lot of, I do a lot of 3-way calls. I do a lot of things like that, but I do a lot of vendor events, actual vendor events where I get a table. I was at one yesterday and we walked out of there with about 24 leads, more than a handful of huge orders. And I have one new distributor that's probably going to join our team on Wednesday. Understand that of my 5, I have more than 5 sales coordinators, but of the 5 sales coordinators that helped me get to NMD, 2 of them I met at vendor events. Because you need to think about this for a second. Vendor events gets you out of the house. You're meeting brand new people. These are people you've never met before. It's bringing in, literally people from all different walks of life. But even if the actual event isn't a huge success, meaning there's not a lot of traffic walking through, you need to go talk to the vendors, because those 2 people that are sales coordinators on my team that I met at vendor events were other vendors. And here's what I mean by that. If you are a vendor, you understand direct sales. You're in it. You're doing it. And a lot of vendors are doing those kinds of things because they feel like that's the only thing that's going to get them business. We're doing it to network, because a lot of these other companies can't hold water to what Juice Plus offers. So we have a better opportunity and a better product. And these are people that get it. So it's important that you're talking to the people that come through, but that you always double up. You always bring a buddy to the event so that you can walk around and network. One of the places yesterday I was walking around, and I love to walk around and talk to these people. And I met someone from a school, this private school, and she wants to contract and have me come in and speak. And she's like, can I order packs of 12 Tower Gardens? I was like, yeah, we call them packs of Tower Gardens. That's what we call them. Like, yes, of course. So now I have a meeting with her this week. You know, I met her because I walked around. She was one of the vendors there yesterday. Who knows what opportunity can come from this? There's 5 schools that are like hers, right? So it's not just about being the vendor and having the customers come through. It's also about networking with other vendors because they get direct sales. They're doing it. They're there doing it. And that's a way that I've grown. That's things that I do. Another thing that I do when it comes to vendor events, guys, and I do this, if someone's local, if they're direct to me or on my team, this is something I like, is like a non-negotiable, is I set up a vendor event, and either myself or their direct upline goes with them. I call it live learning. So I'm a distributor. I sign up Leslie. She's brand new. So I'm going to set up a vendor event and I'm going to bring her to it. Why am I going to do that? Because it's going to train her on what to say and how to say it. Because when she hears me talking, I mean, you're going to have 30 plus conversations that day. When she hears me talking, she's going to start to get the lingo. She's going to start to understand what to say. And then guess what? Then she's going to start having those conversations. So you kind of come in timid, not sure what to say or how to say it. And by the end, you've had so many conversations that you feel so confident and so comfortable that you can talk to anybody. I call it live learning. It's one of the best, most impactful ways to train somebody because it's on hand, it's live, and it's interactive. I can't tell you how many times I'll like say something and turn around and be like, oh God, that was a flop. Not going to say that again. And then I'll say something that you realize really engaged somebody. And I'm thinking, bam, I'm going to say that every time now and see if I can get that same reaction. So it's a great way to kind of like, change your message, work with your message so you can really find out what's going to work. So those are things that I do. I hope that was helpful to you.
I have a question.
But yeah, please ask questions.
I have actually, in regards to the vendor events, how do you find the vendor events? And what marketing materials do you suggest you think are like absolutely necessary to have for those?
So I'm going to share my screen really quick. Well, let me tell you this. I Google it. Google like vendor events in your area, health and wellness events in your area, back to school events. There's a lot of like fall festival things going on right now. You just need to get in front of people. It doesn't matter where it is, right? So the one I did yesterday was like Long Island Parents Magazine did this huge event. There was probably 1,000 people that walked through those doors. It was massive. I didn't stop to like pee. It was ridiculous. I didn't have a minute. So, you want to just Google events in your area, and then that's all I do. And then I kind of look through certain, there's certain websites that I now know to look through at this point, and I'll look through and see what's coming up. And then what happens is you become friends with the people that are putting on these vendor events, and they'll let you know when things are coming up. So at this point, I don't even search for stuff because I have my group of vendor coordinators that are like, hey, this is coming. Do you want to do it? Yes. A lot of my team will Google and do kind of outside different kinds of events. So for me personally, I do some of the really big events myself, but my team does events all the time. We probably have 3 or 4 different vendor events happening this weekend from like 4 different team members this weekend. Did that help? Yeah. So let me show you marketing stuff.
Yes.
I'm going to share my screen. I wasn't prepared to share my screen, so it's a little bit messy. Let me find the picture first. So when I share my screen, I have it up. Here. Okay. So can you see this? Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So this was my table yesterday. I don't know if you can see it that well, but I bought this. You don't have to buy this. This was a fortune, but we do so many events that I give it to my team as, we have events going on. I also have a different one also. So I have the boxes, our Juice Plus boxes are worth their weight in gold. They're beautiful. They stack well. They just look great. So I have the boxes out. If you can see, I have the capsule holders out. I have the chewables out. I mean, a lot of it is just our product. It's just really kind of showing your product. I have the Tower Garden stuff out. I have 2 bags of shakes out. There are 2 flyers. I mean, 2 brochures, well, 3 brochures that I use the most. The complete one, the one that says like the next best thing to fruits and vegetables. It's like a tripod one. It comes in like a pack of 20, I believe. That, and then the Tower Garden long brochure. Those are the only 3 brochures I actually buy from Juice Plus promotions. I also do have the postcards, and I put a label on the back with my name, my email address, my phone number, my website. So I do that as well, so that if someone is like kind of there, you know, like yesterday it was so busy that like I have stacks of them. So people, and they were like, I'd love to talk to you about this, but I can't wait. I'm like, just take this and, you know, and call me. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't even have time to hand them the sheet to write anything down. The other thing is this, you want to get their information. So name, phone number, because you want to call them actually on the phone, like dial their number and call them. That is a very important piece to this puzzle, is like the actual phone call, not the text message, the phone call. So I get their name, their phone number, and their Facebook name, because if I can get their Facebook name, then I can interact with them differently. They're going to see my world, right? So I have like a little sheet that says Juice Plus, and it says like a checkbox. Do you want to learn more about the product, about the business, or about the Tower Garden or something like that? And it says Facebook name as well. So then they'll kind of put that stuff in there, and then I flip over that page and write who the person is before they leave. So what's so funny is, let me unshare. I write very funny things. So for example, there was this woman yesterday. I have to remember who they are so I know who I'm talking about. So I wrote on the back, and I'm remembering her specifically because it was so funny. It was this woman that had a full face of makeup on, the darkest hair I've ever seen, and she was in it looked like she was going to the prom, but she was in sweatpants. So that's how I'm going to remember her. Like that's what I wrote on the back of the form, like fancy makeup, sweatpants. That's how I remembered her. So you have to write funny things, like you have to write things to remember the person so that you remember who you're speaking to. She has 2 kids. One is autistic. Like I wrote all those notes down so that when I call her, I can make it personal. How's your family? How's your son? Did they like the chewables? Did you try the shakes? You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure that you're sharing that way. And that you're taking notes so that you remember who they are. But that's what I do at vendor events. That's where I get my promo stuff. Trisha, was that helpful?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Do you guys have any other questions?
I want to know if you have tips for social media events. That's not something I've done. And I know I'm going to be with Leslie next week, and we were thinking, you know, maybe we could do something, but it's not something she's really dabbled in either. Especially for my market in Central Kentucky, there is so little presence here. So people, this would be like an introductory, like their first exposure to Juice Plus.
So what I recommend with those events is to like post, and then go live. That's kind of the best way to do it. You set up the event, you kind of post some fun things in advance, like, hey, this is coming up, we can't wait, invite friends. You can do like a raffle, like if you have, the people that comment the most are going to be entered into a raffle. Maybe they win a bag of shakes or something along those lines. Do something to kind of get them engaged. But a lot of times what I'll do is I'll spend maybe 15 minutes every 3 or 4 minutes, like posting something leading up to the live event, like going live. And then when you go live, that's kind of where the passion comes out, right? Because you're not gonna feel passion in posts. So you're gonna share, maybe it's about healthy immune system, or if it's about building your family with Juice Plus, or if it's specifically about Juice Plus, you're gonna introduce yourselves, tell them who you are, and tell them how you got started, what Juice Plus has done for you, and what it can do for their family. And that's it. And then you need, I call it like a wingman. You need a wingman. So someone's got to be farming the questions that are happening. because you guys can't be live, like with all those questions coming. It's too hard to kind of interact that way. So like just say, Leslie, if you're live, Trisha, you've got to be on your phone kind of farming the questions and say, hey, Leslie, someone wants to know how many fruits and vegetables are in the fruit or in the 3 blend. So then she'll answer it. But it's too hard because we've made that mistake where you're like this on Facebook and you're trying to interact and then there's so many comments and you can't keep track of them. So you need someone kind of farming in the questions so that you can make sure you're answering the questions they have. Because that's what's great about going live. You can go live from your computer and then someone else can be on their phone kind of going through those questions as your wingman. Okay. Any other questions? Oh, Becky's box ringing. Leslie, did you have another question?
I did. You're just going to ask how many follow-ups on average would you say after your vendor events does it take for you to close? I mean, ideally you close on the spot, but what would you say for follow-ups average?
So follow-up is where magic happens, period. And I have people, like I just got an order 2 weeks ago from a vendor event a year ago. Wow. You can't give up on people. Do not give up on people. And I'm not calling them, bombarding them with Juice Plus. I'm bringing value. Hey, listen, we're all going to the park with some friends today. I know you live in the area, and I'm like making smoothies at the park or something like that. I'm like, just come and hang out, you know? And when you bring value, like, hey, I know your kids love pizza. You can make your own. Check this out. Like, I'm always bringing value. And then you form a relationship with these people. And it's like, you know what? I need to do what she does. I want this product too. So I don't give up on people ever. I keep track of them in my virtual office by making lists. Do you guys know how to make a list in virtual office? So I can share that with you. I can't share my screen right now because all my customers are there and I can't, all their information's there. So I can't do that. But I have documents. I've created a training on how to create lists. I make a list in the virtual office under address book and I put all of their information in there as a prospect. You can do that as a prospect. And then I keep notes, called and left a message, emailed and left a message, still no contact. But like, I call it like the 48-hour rule. So I had my event yesterday. I sent an email this morning. And at the bottom of the email, I write, hey, I'm going to reach out to you later tonight to make sure you received my email. And then you best stick to your word and make sure you call them that night. So then I'll call them probably this afternoon. And at that point, if I get in touch with them, great. If I didn't, no big deal. I'll leave them a message. Hey, it was great to see you yesterday. I left you an email. Definitely check it out. Let me know how I can help. I'll give you a call in a couple of days. Unless you need me sooner, give me a call. And then, so today's Monday. I'll call them again Wednesday. Say I don't talk to them on Wednesday. On Friday, I text them. I'll send them a text. Hey, just thinking about you. I know how excited you were to get started. I knew how important this was for your family. I want to get you started now because it's school and you were telling me how sick your kids were, right? So, stay with me. Let me know how I can help. So, right. So I'm going to kind of follow through that week. If I still have nothing, I get nothing back. I will give it till another 4 days or so. And I'll message something very benign. Like, hey, I know your son was in soccer. Did you see this video or about this professional soccer player? Or did you see this place was coming in town? Then I change it and make it personal. Because if they're not responding to my Juice Plus stuff, then I need to take a different approach. And then I make it personal. And then I stay personal until I can get more of a connection, and then I'll turn back into Juice Plus. So I don't give up on people. I heard this early on and I stay with it. Never take someone off your list. I mean, I have lists in my virtual office of different events and different things that I've done, and I'm constantly going back. I mean, after a year, I'm still making phone calls to people from a year ago and beyond that, because people maybe need it now and maybe they just didn't need it then. Sure. So that's what we do. Does that help?
Yeah, thanks.
All right, Becky sent me something. Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, Becky, what did you want me to do? Becky, is there anything else? Can you type it in the thing? Okay.
Oh, hold on. Becky's saying thank you so much. Oh, she wants just time. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys, if you guys don't have any more questions, certainly we can go. But if you have any other questions, I can stick around for a few minutes. But let Becky know. I'll send her some of that information, and that's it.
Awesome. Thanks,
Finish
Dave.
strong. Finish strong.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.